Hi, I'm your host, The Smitchens, and today we're going to take a look at intervals. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what is an interval? Well, funny you should ask. An interval is the distance between one note and any other note. There are 12 different intervals divided into two different categories, consonant and dissonant. But enough of my yammering, let's dive in and take a good look, shall we? Alright, the octave, the most constant sounding interval. This is when the notes begin to repeat themselves. Pick a note, a string, a fret, anyone you like. I'll use an open A. Add 12 frets on the same string, you're going to have an octave. All across the board, every single time, no matter what fret and what string you're on, add 12 frets, you're always going to get the octave. In most cases, particularly on the lower strings, if you add 7 frets and then over 1, you're going to get the same octave. And add 2 frets and over 2, same octave. In most cases. It gets a little muddled up with the B string, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, the perfect fifth. This is the most consonant combination of two different notes. The octaves were the same note, A to A. This is different notes, A to E. To find a perfect fifth on the same string, add 7 frets. There it is. In every case, you add 7 frets, and you're always going to get a perfect fifth. In most cases, you add 2 frets and over 1 string, and you have your perfect fifth again. Alright, next up is the perfect fourth. To find one of these bad boys, you go up 5 frets from a given note, and there it is. In this case, I'm using A to D. That is always going to be constant. In most cases, on the same fret, if you go over 1 string, open A to open D, you got a perfect fourth. An interesting thing about these two notes is it's essentially a reversed perfect fifth. And what that means is the distance from the A to the D is a perfect fourth, but the distance from the D to the very next A is a perfect fifth. A and D will always have that relationship. A sharp and D sharp will always have that relationship. A flat and D flat, etc., etc. Every note's perfect fifth is essentially reversible, and then you got a perfect fourth, if that makes any sense to you. I hope it does. It should. If it doesn't, let me know. Here is the exercise with which I have composed for your educational benefits. It goes a little something like this. Whoops. Alright, well, in any case, what's happening here is it's a pattern. Every other note is a root note with a perfect fourth, a perfect fifth, and an octave in between. And that shape just essentially ascends the neck. Now, I said earlier there are some differences in the intervals, particularly on the B string. That one's tuned a little bit differently, so say from the G string, we use a G for example, to find the perfect fourth, it's 1 fret higher. And yet again, the perfect fifth is 1 fret higher than it is anywhere else. So from the 12th fret to the 13th would be the 4th, and the 12th to the 15th would be the 5th. Ugh, try saying that 3 times fast. Well, anyway, and from the D string to the B, you know, the octave, add 1 fret. From the B to the high E, it goes back to normal. It's just that one, just to add, I don't know, weirdness and inconsistency to it. It's boring, but it's important, helpful. And, you know, look at my hands, look at the example below, and it should click. If it doesn't, let me know. We'll figure something out. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. See you later. Is always an octave. Oh, shush it, bud. Now it's not the time to be talking to me.